effect of the job stress of nursing care workers and nursing homes on focusing on the control effects of emotional intelligence. Department of Social Welfare, Catholic Andong University, doctoral program, 최선열. Abstract. The professionalism of the long-term nursing care worker for the age should be secured, and the decline of service quality should be prevented. Also, the patient's quality of life should not be reduced to their job stress and job burnout. This study carried out research about the effect of emotional aspects on human resources management as a method to secure and manage human resources equipped with core capabilities. The reason is because the human service industry, including long-term home, are institutions greatly depends on human resources as human service become the core. The study results are presented below. First, study results are presented below. First, job stress significantly affected job burnout. Second, this study verified the emotional intelligence control effect in the relationship between job stress and job burnout, and the emotional intelligence control effect was significant. This means that non-profit management mindset of private nursing home and the emotional intelligence training for nursing care workers to actively cope with job stress are essential. One, introduction. 1.1 need for the study. This study was carried out by realizing that the job stress of nursing care workers in nursing homes will seriously affect job burnout, and the seriousness the service quality for the patients will decline. This study aimed to examine the effect of nursing care workers' job stress on job burnout by identifying the job stress factors of nursing care workers and to find out whether emotional intelligence has a control effect between the job stress and job burnout. If nursing care workers experience job stress and it is accumulated without being solved, they select to transfer jobs or quit their jobs due to emotional and psychological exhaustion, namely job burnout. If the burnout occurs to one organization member, it negatively impacts other members in the same organization. The burnout of nursing care workers not only negatively affect job attitude, job satisfaction, job performance, job achievement, and self-concept, but the quality of service may decline and ultimately affects the quality of life of the elderly. Meanwhile, emotional intelligence was defined as an ability to control and distinguish the emotion and moods of oneself from others using the information obtained through a capability to sense and distinguish one's own emotion and moods from others. Through the previous studies, the nursing care workers experience the job burnout due to job stress can predict the ease and control of job burnout caused by job stress with the functional control ability of emotional intelligence. (1.2) Research problem. This study aims to achieve the study purpose through the change of nursing care workers, the core workers of long-term care insurance, and the following research tasks were set. First, does nursing care workers' job stress affect job morale? Second, does emotional intelligence play a control role in the effect of nursing care workers' job stress on job morale? 2. Research method. The following research models were set to achieve the purpose of this study. 2.1 Research models. Independent variable, job stress. Control variable, emotional intelligence. Dependent variable, job morale. Emotional exhaustion, dehumanization, decline, personal desire to accomplish. Data collection and sample. To achieve the study purpose, this study targeted the nursing care workers and at the nursing homes located in province and carried out questionnaire survey. The data collection was conducted through a questionnaire survey, and it was conducted after participant consent was gained. The questionnaire survey period was for 2 weeks from April 6 until April 2020. The questionnaire copies were distributed to the nursing care workers after sufficiently explaining the purpose of this study, and then collected the response copies. 203 questionnaire copies were distributed and 204 copies were ultimately collected, and the data collection for verification of research hypothesis was performed in 2 steps. Targeting the nursing care workers, in-depth interviews were carried out, and the major factors related to job stress, job burnout, and emotional intelligence were done. Based on these, the final question were drawn through the orientational definition used in literature review. The survey on the question composed a core variable measuring items was carried out using self-recording type, targeting 204 adult males and females working as nursing care workers. 2.3 Operation definition of variables. 2.31 Job stress. This study used a total of 12 questions by partially revising the job stress measuring tool developed by Hamina and the measuring tool used by Ivanchevich and Matus to be sure for this study's situation. Each question was measured by 5-point Likert scale: 1 point strongly disorderly, 2 point disorderly, 3 point neutral, 4 point ugly, 5 point strongly ugly. For the measurement of job stress, the questions consisted of 3 areas. 4 questions related to senior workers, 4 questions on excessive role factors, and 4 questions on wage and reward. Uh, 2.32 burnout. To measure social workers' burnout level, this study used questionnaire question translated by An Soo-kyung by revising them. Each question consisted of strongly ugly 5 point, ugly 4 point, neutral 3 point, disagree 2 point, and strongly disagree 1 point. As the score is higher, the nursing care workers feel more burnout. The questions by sub-factor of burnout consisted of 20 questions, 8 questions on emotional exhaustion, 6 on the lack of sense of accomplishment, 6 questions on dehumanization. Uh, 2.3 emotional intelligence. For emotional intelligence, WLEIS, Jung and Low Emotional Intelligence Social Scale, on emotional intelligence measuring tool developed by Jung and Low was used in consisted of 16 questions, 4 questions on one's one emotional understanding, others emotion understanding, emotion control, and emotion utilization respectively. Each question was measured using the 5-point Likert scale, strongly agree 5 point and strongly disagree 1. As the score was higher, it means the understanding of self-emotion is higher. 2.4 Method to analyze data. This study conducted a questionnaire survey targeting nursing care workers and nursing homes and analyzed the collected questionnaire responses. SPSS 240 was used on analysis tool for reliability verification of the measuring tool. The reliability of the questions was measured using Cronbach's alpha coefficient, and the factor analysis on each question was performed for validity test, although the validity of the questions was already carried out. On exploratory factor analysis was conducted in consideration of a possibility of error occurrence in the translation process. Lastly, this study carried out a regulation analysis, analyzed the effect of job stress on job morale, and a hierarchical regulation analysis was performed to check the control effect of emotional intelligence in the effect of job stress on job morale. Three result. 3.1 analytical results of measurements, reliability and validity. This study carried out exploratory factor analysis to test the validity of component concept. As a result, KMO and Bartlett test. The Kaiser-Meyer-Olkin measure value was 0.893. According to the Bartlett spreadsheet test result, significance probability p value equal 0.000, and so adequacy was ensured to test the validity of the component items. A main component analysis was carried out using the Bell-Max rotation method and the factor extraction method. As a result of the test, all questions factor loading was 0.6 or more, so high validity was ensured. The Cronbach's alpha coefficient to confirm reliability was 0.7 or more, and so it was verified as acceptable level. 3.2 Effects of job stress on job morale. To verify the effects of regulation analysis on Table 1. To verify the effects of regression analysis on sub-hypothesis was carried out. The regression analysis result to verify the effect of job stress on emotional exhaustion, which is the sub-factor of job burnout, is shown in Table 1. According to the verification result, job stress significantly and positively affected emotional exhaustion. Therefore, the hypothesis that job stress will have a significant positive effect on emotional exhaustion was adopted. Table 2. The result of the regression analysis carried out for verification on the effects of job stress on dehumanization is shown in Table 2. According to the verification result, job stress and a significant positive effect on dehumanization. So the hypothesis that job stress will have a significant positive effect on dehumanization was adopted. Table 3. The result of the regulation analysis to verify the effect of job stress on the decline in personal desire to accomplish system shown in Table 3. According to the verification result, job stress had a significant positive effect on the decline of personal desire to accomplish. Therefore, the hypothesis that job stress will have a significant positive effect on the decline of personal desire to accomplish was adopted. As all the sub-hypotheses were adopted, the hypothesis that job stress will have a significant positive effect on job burnout was supported. Control role of emotional intelligence in the effects of job stress on job burnout. Table 4. To verify this study carried out a hierarchical regression analysis on the sub-hypothesis. It is about the control role of emotional intelligence working on the causation between job stress and the emotional exhaustion. To verify, this study performed a hierarchical regression analysis by including job stress, emotional intelligence, and interaction between job stress and emotional intelligence as independent variables and emotional exhaustion as dependent variables. As shown in Table 4, the regression model's conformity was significant as the significant probabilities of Model 1, Model 2, Model 3, in which job stress, an independent variable, emotional intelligence, control variable, and interaction were inputted, respectively, was p-value less than 0.05. As a result of verifying the significance of the explanation, reliability, and R-scale change of the models, the model's explanation, reliability, and R-scale change were statistically significant, and so hypothesis was adopted. Table 5. This is about the controlling role of emotional intelligence working on the relationship between job stress and dehumanization. To verify this study carried out a hierarchical analysis by inputting job stress, emotional intelligence, and introduction between job stress and emotional intelligence as independent variables. and dehumanization as a dependent variable. According to the analytical result presented in table 5, as a result of checking the significance probabilities of model 1, model 2, and model 3 in which job stress, independent variable, emotional intelligence, control variable, and interaction were inputted respectively. All were p-value less than 0.05, and so the conformity of the regulation models was effective. As a result of verifying the significance of the explanation reliability and R-scale change, the explanation reliability and R-scale change of the models were statistically significant. Therefore, hypothesis was adopted. Table 6. This is about the controlling role of emotional intelligence working on the causation between job stress and decline in personal desire to accomplish. To verify this, hierarchical regulation analysis was carried out by inputting job stress, emotional intelligence, and interaction between job stress and emotional intelligence as independent variables, and the decline of personal desire to accomplish as a dependent variable. According to the analytical result presented in table 6, as a result of checking the significance probabilities of model 1, model 2, and model 3 in which job stress independent variables, emotional intelligence, control variable, and interaction were inputted respectively, all were p-value less than 0.05, and so the conformity of the regulation models was effective. As a result of verifying the significance of the explanation reliability, R-scale change the explanation reliability, and R-scale change of the models were statistically significant. Therefore, the hypothesis was adopted. As all the sub-hypotheses were adopted, the hypothesis that emotional intelligence will play a controlling role in the effects of job stress on job burnout was supported. For conclusion and implications, this study aimed at the following: providing the implications on the relationship between personal relations and human service workers' job stress, emotional intelligence, and job burnout social and at pharmacy level, forming bond of sympathy, providing detailed job guidelines for human service workers in the social welfare field, putting importance on emotional management and high quality service, and making wrong data, and offering guidelines for the efficient operations of the long-term home care institutions, as well as the self-development and quality of life improvement of nursing care workers, which are the core human resources of the long-term care insurance system. First, nursing care workers' job stress was verified to affect job burnout, and relations with senior workers, excessive role and rewards for the factors relating job burnout to the nursing care workers, especially the work component greatly affect emotional exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion includes one's own emotion, interest, and belief. The most important factor causing job burnout to a person is emotional exhaustion, and it can be cause of dehumanization and the decline in personal sense of accomplishment. Like the result of the study, emotional exhaustion should be thoroughly and effectively managed. The job environmental improvement is just to be necessary through job training on organizational management for facility heads and managers, and also by benchmarking bias to excellent institutions. The government and the institutions need to reconsider whether adequate occupational and economic rewards are offered to the nurse care workers. If the job stress and job burnout of nurse care workers providing human service can be eased through manager training on management of workers and treatment improvement of nursing care workers, the service quality for senior citizens will improve as much as the nursing care workers' satisfaction. Also, the institutions' competitiveness enhancement that was left to facility heads, and the service sector satisfaction will be revealed through private facilities expansion. Second, emotional intelligence was analyzed to play a controlling role in the aspect of nurse care workers' job stress on job. Emotional intelligence in the relationship between nursing care workers, job stress, and job burnout showed the control effect on the three sub-factors of job burnout, namely emotional exhaustion, dehumanization, and decline in personal desire to accomplish. Through this, it is understood that emotional intelligence is important in easing job burnout caused by the nurse care workers' job stress. The government should use the result for the long-term care insurance system, and so a systematized emotional capability development system should be developed and performed. Based on this, the nursing homes should carry out training of emotional intelligence for the nursing care workers so that they can actively cope with job stress.